Hello friends, in the previous lecture of mine we have discussed what is group discussion, how to prepare and what are the preparation needed for a successful group discussion. Well, today we shall discuss types of group discussion, myths about group discussion. So what are the types of group discussion? Group discussion is the test of knowledge and communication skill with coherent flow of thought necessary for a leadership role of a candidate on a topical issue. There are other group discussion which are designed to test the lateral thinking of candidate. Another type of group discussion comes in form of a short case study when applicants are asked to analyze a situation and frame responses. Yet another type of a group discussion is a group exercise. Group discussion is an important testing tool of participant skill in final admission round for any organization, MBA, PGDM, etc. Most of the top MBA colleges, management colleges including a few IIMs conduct GD along with personal interview in the final admission round. Roles participants play during group discussion is very important to know and to prepare. Well, there are certain GD round play. While some of the roles lead to selection, others invite elimination. Carefully choose the right role in your group discussion round. Beginner. The candidate who starts group discussion, he may suggest new ideas, define the GD topic, but may not necessarily have sufficient subject knowledge to present effectively his point of view. So you can play the role of a beginner. Facilitator. Facilitator is leading group discussion while keeping track of group discussion. Seeker of information. He tries to gather and solicit information from others. Disseminator of information means he prefers to share information and facts. Seeker of opinion tries to gather some opinion from others and ask the fellow participants for their opinion. Giver of opinion promptly jumps to give his opinion on the views shared by other participants. Analyst. He analyzes and clarifies the ideas and opinion discussed during the group discussion. Community supporter. He supports the ideas of all participants but has none of his own. Reliever. He presents and discusses the problem with a broader perspective and make mountain out of molehill and release all of any tension. Energy spreader. This participant can be seen encouraging other participants to explore some new ideas during a group discussion. Bridge creator. He creates harmony between different opinions by giving a solution with different ways of compromise. Summary maker. He summarizes and concludes a group discussion by including all important points discussed during a group discussion. There is literally a word war going on between all the candidates of a group discussion. But you are there in a nook recalling all the rules and regulation you came across either in a lecture or over the internet. The moderator breaks your chain of thoughts by hitting the buzzer, and hence your chance of making to the next level gets wasted. Overcome these false rubrics of group discussion and brace yourself to take an active participation in this war of words. There are some of the popular myths that we follow during group discussion. Sit correctly. The moderator is not there to see how much your spinal cord could bend, no matter how straight you sit. But if you don't speak, you are anyways out. So sit the way you like, but of course not in a vulgar manner, and speak as much as you can. That is to say that sitting correctly is also important, but more than that, your participation verbally is very important. Be assertive. Let us face the fact that if you won't be loud to prove your point, then no one is going to listen to your point. Yes, not even the moderator. Be loud enough to make your point fall on the ears of others. Make sure not to be rude and not to use abusive language. Try to initiate the conversation. The topic given to you is no less than rocket science for you, but just to grab those brownie points, you start the discussion and eventually land it in a soup. It's better to wait for someone to start if you don't know the basics of the topic. Don't roll like a ball. Remember, it is not a debate but a group discussion. Don't adhere to a particular side right from the very beginning till the very end. Switch side and change the course of direction to gain the attention of the moderator. Be a leader. A leader always takes his team member to a right direction unless you are sure that you could take everyone in the right way. Don't take this initiative by changing the direction of discussion in a wrong way. Start by defining the topic. You are losing your precious time by defining the obvious topic. Avoid this habit and directly come to the point. Never ask questions to other candidates. Do it because that is your only chance to make those candidates stop who speak continuously. This way, you could make the heads of other people nod in your favor. Never cut others short. If you won't do it, some other will. Hence, if you want to speak, do it by hook or crook. Summarize your point when you get a chance. If you rush in summarizing your talk and give a final judgment in the very start, then don't expect rolling in other direction, and in fact, don't expect another chance to speak. Be clear in what you say while you summarize. Be diplomatic towards the end. Make sure that those who are listening to you leave the hall with a Q mark on their faces. It is a GD, not a debate. Otherwise, your same clear summary could be used against you in the next round, which probably is interview. GD cannot be learned from internet, books, or from any lecture. It requires a spontaneity at the last moment, and if you succeed in doing that, you could clear it with flying colors. Though these are the mentioned strategies which may help you a lot in relaxing before GD and somewhat give you a direction to talk in GD, yet you also work hard constantly. It is a truth that many organizations would like to maintain an informal environment and are increasingly accepting informal dressing in work culture. But have you ever seen the CEO or an important person in such a company ever attending a formal occasion in casuals? No. GDs are about ideas and the exchange of ideas. They are not about data. It is essential that you have a larger picture of the topic, and most of the discussion should revolve around the macro issues and not the micro issues. So, it is helpful if you have some macro statistics at hand, but you certainly don't have to cram up on all the minor details. For example, while speaking of poverty in India, you just need to have a rough estimate of the number of people below the poverty line. Even a rough percentage will do. It is not necessary that you should also mention the criteria that determines whether one is below or above the poverty line. One needs to have an exceptional vocabulary to be successful in GD. Nothing is farther from the truth. If you use words that your audience cannot understand, you are going to lose the audience. Nothing worse can happen to you in a GD. All you need is crisp, plain, grammatically correct language with a pinch of humor, if possible, to articulate your idea. Body language is to lay emphasis on the words you speak. Aggressive body language distracts the listener and diverts attention from what you are saying. GDs are all about capturing an audience for what you have to say. People won't be interested in the funny gesture you are capable of. So, as a final count, let us just recall the 7 best ways to ruin your GD. Dress like Elvis Presley. Say whatever comes to your mind, however irrelevant, just to be the one to speak first. Keep on speaking, never mind if people are listening or not. Well, if you follow, you are going to ruin your career. Wait till you get a chance to speak. Show them all the statistic you know. Use powerful vocabulary that no one understands. Make wild gesture to attract attention. It does not matter how much you have spoken. What really matters is how much sense you made while you spoke. Were you relevant and in context? Were you able to capture the attention of the audience? These are the crucial questions that determine your chances. Specifically, the factual group discussions, if one speaks less but contributes highly relevant statistical and factual information on the topic, one is definitely going to gain. If 2 or 3 people in a group discussion believe in this concept, it is the perfect recipe for a fish market group discussion. Please remember that your interpersonal skills are judged by how well you listen to others. You will be able to contribute in a coherent fashion only if you are able to listen to what others say and connect what are about to say to it. There is no thumb rule that if you are speaking in favor of a topic, you have a positive outlook. You should feel comfortable and natural while discussing a topic. Most individuals feel if they speak in favor of a topic, they stand a better chance of being selected. Often, a person conducting a group discussion can give a very abstract or trivial topic. For instance, in the 20th century, India continues to live in village. In this case, most individuals will begin by saying, I completely agree with the topic. But it is here that the candidate projects ignorance because there is a mass exodus of the rural population, particularly the younger generation, to urban India in search of better job opportunity. As already mentioned, listening is a better communication skill than speaking. Do not interrupt the speaker. If they speak first, it is good for you, especially if you are not familiar with the topic. Moreover, if the speakers speak illogically, it goes in your favor. Besides, even if you have spoken well but keep interrupting the other participants, it speaks volumes about your inherent insecurity. Let the speaker commit mistakes by speaking senselessly rather than your interrupting the speaker. You win by default if the other speaker is off the mark. You should make others agree to your point. Wrong. You have not gone to fight a legal battle that you should make others agree to your viewpoint. It is always better to say, I agree with Mr. X, however, I think, rather than saying, I do not agree with Mr. X, or how can you say? If you disagree with everyone, everyone will disagree with you. Ultimately, you will find the entire group against you, placing you in an embarrassing position. You should be an individual speaker, meaning thereby that you have to speak your points only. You are in a group discussion, not a debate, and in a group you have to get involved. Participants is very important, so go the extra mile to help others in voicing their opinions. Look for the individual who has not spoken and motivate him or her to speak. You will create a very positive picture of yourself to the coordinator. At the same time, if you feel that the discussion has turned out to be argumentative, try to restore normalcy, but not by out shouting others. Instead, convey your points in a modest, audible manner. You should project yourself in a style. Do not try to project what you are not. The bottom line is be yourself. Be normal. The objective of a group discussion is to discover your traits. Do not change your pronunciation or accent and try to speak in ornamental English. 99% and the chances are that you will get caught. An important point to note is that in trying to flaunt a style, individuals get carried away and thereby deviate from the topic. Never try to put on an act in a group discussion unless you are some actor. Types of GD based on method of conduct. A structured group discussion, and in this type of group discussion, the topic is given to the participant by the selector and a time frame is allotted to complete the discussion. This is the most commonly followed technique for a group discussion. Unstructured group discussion, unlike in the case of a structured group discussion, the candidate themselves decide the topic with mutual consent. This formal method of group discussion is rarely used. Role play. In this type of group discussion, the candidates are given specific roles to play in the backdrop of a given situation. Within the framework of their role, the participants have to solve the problems inherent in the situation given to them. Group discussion with a nominal leader. Generally, no one is nominated as leader of a group discussion and all participants are treated as equal. But in this type of a group discussion, a person is nominated as a facilitator or a leader of the group. He may summarize the discussion or solution discussed at the end of the group discussion. Sometimes the leader is nominated by the group member themselves. Group discussion can also be categorized based on the topic allotted for the discussion to the participant. And what are these? Controversial topics. These are the topics which are controversial and which have the potential to generate an argument. Such topics generally make the discussion lively as arguments and counter arguments are presented. This gives the evaluators more opportunity to evaluate the candidate. Examples of such topics include: should the examination system be scrapped, or how ethical is cloning? Abstract topic: There is a growing trend of assigning abstract topic, that is topic which are vague or unclear. These topics enable the evaluator to evaluate the creative ability of the candidate. Every candidate can have his own interpretation of the topic. Some topics are 0, 1 and 1 make 11. Case study topics. Here a situation is provided to the participants which may depict a problem faced by the organization or the managers. Participants need to analyze the situation and think of various alternatives to solve the problem. This kind of group discussion tests the ability of the candidate to think of solution, keeping the situational factors and constraint in mind. Well, positive personality is one of the important traits for group discussion. Group discussions are an effective tool for assessing the overall personality of the candidate. Personality includes not only one's external appearance but also the traits one possesses. Thus, during the group discussion, the dressing style, speaking style, attitude towards others, presentation style and so on are evaluated. During the 25-30 minutes one needs to create a favorable impression on the evaluators. A pleasing personality makes favorable impression, giving one an edge over the other. One needs to possess good oratory skills with a sound vocabulary. Besides being a good speaker, one needs to be a good listener, because in group discussion one needs to speak keeping in mind what has been or is being said by others. Sound knowledge and awareness level. The participants' knowledge and general awareness is another major ingredient for successful group discussion. The participant needs to have originality in his or her idea, that is, she should hold his own viewpoint and have considered depth of knowledge. The participants' ability to coordinate the team and work in harmony with others is another ingredient for success in group discussion. Cooperation and positive contribution toward discussion are vital. One must display the ability to take control of discussion without operating to be dominating. Now the question is how to join the discussion, what kind of sentence should be spoken first. Like, I would like to raise the subject of, you can start with, I would like to raise the subject of. What I think is, you may also start. I think it is important to consider the question of ... you can carry on. I could say a word about, this is also a way to start. May I make a point about? To support what some other participants has said. Remember that you should not say that you support so and so or I agree with him or her. You should support the views of the person, not the person. I would like to support Ms. Natasha's point of view about. That is just what I also think. I agree fully with what Mr. X has just said. I am in complete agreement with fee slashing. To support disagreement, again remember that you are opposed to the idea and not the person who holds. You can disagree by using polite expressions instead of curt expressions such as you are wrong. You can say, please allow me to differ. This is a very polite expression. I would like to differ. I think differently on this issue. I don't agree, in my opinion. You can carry on. To make a point very strongly, you can say, I am convinced that, then you can't deny that. Anybody can see that. It is quite clear to me that. To bring a discussion back to the point, that is very interesting, but I don't think it is indeed to the point. Perhaps we could go back to the point. Could we stick to the subject, please? So you can speak all these to bring a discussion back to the point. Like, I am afraid we are drifting from the point. Well, friends, these are all the important points of a group discussion. Language is very important. That denotes the entire personality. And you are in a group discussion not to fight, but to share your ideas with your fellow partner. And you can put your ideas amicably, create a friendly atmosphere. Because when you are in a meeting, you are not supposed to hit other. Hit other, I mean, even using bad word. So even you use sentences, language, vocabulary that is very, very polite. In group discussion, as you know, the very important point is that a solid conclusion within a said span of time. What is the said span of time? 15 to 20 minutes. And from the beginning, you have to keep in mind the very time frame. And for that, from the beginning, you need to create a friendly atmosphere, establish a friendly behavior with other. My dear friends, I am sure that you must have received good information today. By going through this, by listening to whatever I have shared with you, you will be a good member of a group discussion. But as I said, that this is not the final word. You may develop on your own. You may practice some of the things I have shared with you. But you can also practice. Read, read, read and read. Even at your school, at your colleges, you can make some group and go for group discussion with a target that in future you are going to be a very good speaker, a member of a group discussion. This also keep in mind that if you think that you get success individually in a group discussion and group may fail at cost of your success, well, this will be the failure for everyone. So always think for the group at large with your positive individuality. With these words, I would like to conclude the discussion and go through the various kind of tips. Practice, practice and practice. Open your eyes, be alert, know the world, know your surrounding, know the environment, know the other people around you and be a successful communicator. Goodbye, have a nice day. See you later in another topic of mine under interpersonal skill. Thank you very much.